Ever since I got interested in the TF2 community, the TF2 content trap/bubble has been something people talk about. If you're unfamiliar, it can generally be defined as some mystical force keeping TF2 content creators from branching out and making non-TF2 content. Recently, on an episode of the chudlenuts podcast, the cast of TF2bers talked about it and their skepticism towards it. And I thought that there was some stuff missing, so I want to add in my 2 cents about the topic. I don't disagree with what the nutters said, but I do think that they and other people I've heard talk about the TF2 bubble in passing have missed out on a few key details. Their final conclusion can pretty much be boiled down to, it's hard to change your content and bring your audience along with you. The more egregious the change, the harder it'll be, and if your content is bad, then it'll be even harder. All of this makes sense. If a YouTuber makes a new, different video that isn't what people will come to watch them for, their existing subscribers won't watch and will damage its performance algorithmically. But why does this seem to be a particular problem within the TF2 sphere? TF2 isn't like most games out there, especially shooters. Well, yeah, of course you might say. And to be fair, it is pretty obvious. But I want to highlight one of the most unique parts of its gameplay by taking a look at the peak of TF2 slop, weapon reviews. Why don't we see weapon reviews for games other than TF2? Broadly speaking, of course, there are examples, but most of them are fairly obviously inspired by TF2 weapon reviews. Let's compare guns real quick. On the left, we have almost any traditional shooter, and on the right, we have TF2. A reasonably realistic shooter has 4 key weapon types: automatics, semis, shotguns, and snipers, just like real life. Any weapon that in existence probably fits under that umbrella. Unless we're talking explosives, flamethrowers, or vehicles. But those are usually special rewards, or power-ups, not meant to be equal to a typical gun. TF2, meanwhile, has different weapon types for each class, and different secondaries as well. And not only that, but their variants compare and contrast differently. No one's going to realistically try and make a weapon review telling you how the AR is different from the AK, or at least they won't do it well. At their core, most guns have the same playstyle. However, in TF2, these limitations don't exist. Look at the Heavy. His minigun is slow, it's consistent, and it gives constant damage instead of bursts. Combine this with his tankiness, and Heavy, when revved, is able to hold down an area fairly well, while still being mobile. That's his core playstyle, but if we change the weapon, that playstyle gets changed. The Natasha encourages you to play more defensively, as well as focusing fast or airborne enemies. The Tomislav encourages more aggressive play with its better speed and less random spread. The Huolong is, in theory, supposed to encourage you working with pyros, but in reality it's the weapon of cart huggers and punishing people who get too close to you. And the Brass Beast makes you a way more dangerous person on defense, basically useless on offense. And the comparisons go on, and that's just one weapon for one class, and we aren't even talking about how the weapons fare against different classes, or how they pair with secondaries, and with melees. There is a lot of things you can talk about when it comes to TF2's weapons, which is why there were so many of these videos. It's not hard to make these comparisons, and this isn't even talking about how different playstyles mean weapons get personalities. Stock weapons are consistent, precise weapons are tryhardy, annoying weapons aren't just better stat-wise, they're straight up unfun to fight. And meme weapons? There's almost no other game out there that have meme weapons like TF2. If they do, they're just neutered versions of regular weapons. TF2's meme guns are hard to use, often because of how they function, not just because of their statistical weakness, although that definitely does do some heavy lifting. Most TF2 videos have fallen under the strategy or analysis umbrella, but there's been a bit of a shift recently away from analysis videos, as people making that kind of content have started trying to migrate away. And we were left with very little in the way of content in general. However, raw gameplay, montages, live comps, and challenge videos sort of still do exist. So what about these gameplays and challenges? I would argue that these are easier to make for TF2, to an extent. The divisions created by the class system mean that you can do stuff like 100 Days of Sniper. The weapons system's complexities allow for things like 100 kills with a syringe gun, and weapon matchups/subclasses allow for things like 100 Days of Penis Scout. I mean, I think I would be a lot more interested in 100 Days of Sniper than 100 days of using the Glock. TF2 is just more milkable. Not only that, but the inherent complexities of the game's mechanics allow for variety, which is a lifesaver for making content. So, In conclusion, TF2 doesn't just have some mythical force that keeps content creators from branching out magically. TF2 just has more to talk about, which helps viewers stay engaged and helps content creators make more interesting videos. But these benefits only apply to TF2 content, so trying to move out is harder if you specifically rely on making TF2 analysis videos. This doesn't apply as much to things like challenge videos like Zenith's. The formula is transferable because it doesn't rely on TF2's complexities as its main driver. Instead, it's his storytelling and the sadistic pleasures of watching someone torture themselves for views that keep people interested. The key is, there are two ways a content creator can succeed: by being a personality or by making interesting content. I'm not watching a random Joe off the street review cereal. I'm watching Schlatt review cereal because he is a transferable, entertaining personality. But it's not the only option. You can also make an interesting video. And to many people, this is their key to success. I don't care who someone is. If I think a video will be interesting or entertaining, I'm going to watch it. Of course, this isn't a binary. The best videos do both of these things. But good ideas last for one video. Or maybe a few if you make it a series. It's easy to make interesting TF2 videos, but people are interested not in the content creator, but rather in what they're talking about. This means that if you make a bunch of interesting videos about, one game, your established audience won't move with you if your new videos aren't just as interesting. In this world, you're either a Germa or you're a... Well, hold on a sec. I can't just compare someone to Germa. That's like being like, in this world, you're either a Germa or you're a dirty, pathetic, cock-sucking, pimple-faced weeb like Zenith. I hate you. Go die in a ditch. No, I'm not gonna say that. It's a shitty comparison. Better way to put it would be, in this world, not everyone can be a Germa. Be aware of yourself, and if you don't like the limitations you have, change them. But don't blame the game. Blame the player. I've been Joe, and it's been real.